सूर्यकोटि महाकाय
सूर्यकोटि
समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं
निर्विघ्नं
कुरु मे देव
सर्वकार्येषु
सर्वकार्येषु
सर्वदा।
सर्वदा।
ॐ श्री
ॐ श्री
महागणपतये
महागणपतये
नमः।
नमः।
ॐ श्री
हरि श्री
गुरुभ्यो
गुरुभ्यो
नमः।
नमः।
हरिः
हरि
ओम्।
ओम
सदाशिवसमारम्भां
सदाशिवसमारम्भां
शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
राचार्यमध्यमाम्
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां
अद्वैतमध्यन्तां
वन्दे
वन्दे
गुरुपरम्पराम्।
गुरुपरम्पराम्।
अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो
गुरुभ्यो
नमः।
नमः। स्मृतिपुराणानाम्
श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं
आलयं
करुणालयं
करुणालयम्
नमामि
नमामि
भगवत्पादं
भगवत्पादं
शङ्करं
शङ्करं
लोकशङ्करं
शोकशङ्करम्।
शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्धधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्कपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थितदद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। नमस्ते एवरीवन।
Namaskaram, Guruji.
Taram.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste. Before we start,
Congratulations on the 100th class.
I should thank you with the grace of Dakshinamurti and also Guru Parampara. We have all been in this journey together for 100 classes. It has been really great. I have really learned a lot in the process, and I hope you also have gained a lot during this. And it's I should actually thank all of you for giving me this opportunity to share whatever I learned about Bhagavad Gita. And another important announcement I want to make is today, the 100th class, I will be completing the 3rd chapter. Karma Yoga chapter we will be completing today. As such, I plan to complete it on time, but if I extend it by a few minutes, please bear with me. And next week, I will do a summary of the 3rd chapter. Okay, next class. Okay. So with those words, let us enter the 100th class. And we were seeing this 42nd sloka. Indriyani paranyahu indriyebhyah param manah manasastu para buddhihi yo buddhe paratastu saha. So, as we were discussing in the last class, desire is an expression of a feeling of incompleteness, apurnatvam, and it will go only by the discovery of purnatvam. Aham purnaha asmi. I am full and complete. I do not lack anything. I do not need anything. Because if we are in fact really apurnaha, incomplete, we can never become complete. What is incomplete cannot be made complete by adding things together. It will still remain incomplete only. Therefore, what the Shastra says is, you are complete, but you have this misconception that you are incomplete. So, the solution is you have to discover the completeness in you, the Purnatvam in you. And that's why, earlier in this chapter itself, Krishna said, Naiva tasya kritenartaha na kriteneha kaschana na chasya sarva bhuteshu kaschidartha vyapashrayah. For a person who has understood and assimilated the knowledge of the self, there is nothing in this world that he has to gain through action, and nothing to lose also due to action. He does not, kaschid vyapashraya, he does not have dependence on any being, or in fact on all, sarva bhuteshu, he says, on all beings for any purpose. And we also saw in the second chapter, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogatan atmanyevatmana tushtaha. That also we saw. One of the very important slokas. Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha, he explains this. So when I am full and complete, I do not need anything. Whatever around me is only luxury. Puja Swamiji beautifully says, converting everything around to luxury is moksha. What is luxury? Whatever you possess, you enjoy. When it is not there, you don't miss it. That is luxury. Definition of luxury, isn't it? But if you miss that object, it is no more a luxury, it has become a necessity. And that's the difference between necessity and luxury. So if you convert everything around you into a luxury, enjoy it as long as it is available, no problem. But if it is no longer available, you don't miss it. You don't sit and cry, oh, this has gone away. Necessity is just the opposite. Without necessity, we cannot live. Necessities of our life, isn't it? So, when things around are necessities, or we consider them as necessities, it becomes a bondage. And when things around me are luxuries, it is called moksha. The very presence of my body in this form is a luxury. That Bhagavan has given me eyes is a luxury. We have hands, legs. That is a luxury. That I can speak, luxury. I can hear is a luxury. When you become bald, you will know that having hair on your head is a luxury. But of course, people try to recreate that luxury through wigs, hair transplants, etc. Unfortunately, we don't realize that they are also all luxuries only. And we take them for granted without realizing that nothing is permanent. The only permanent thing is gaining the understanding that by nature I am permanent, I am complete, I am Purna. That is what is moksha is all about. So in fact, when you come to Vedanta, you get a totally different perception of what is moksha. Where the Purva Bhaga and the Puranas, they talk about moksha as going to Swargaloka and things like that, or Vaikuntha Loka and all that kind of a thing. Whereas when you come to Vedanta Bhaga, the whole definition of moksha is totally revolutionized. And such a moksha is possible only through Atma Jnanam. And therefore, in these two verses, 42 and 43, We are seeing 42. Next verse also we will see. Krishna talks about Atma Jnanam as the ultimate remedy for Kama Krodha problem. And to talk about Atma Jnanam, Krishna has to define Atma. What is Atma? And we get the definition of Atma in this verse. That's why it's a very, very important verse. And as I said in the last class, this verse is borrowed from the teaching from Kathopanishad. In Kathopanishad, there are two well-known mantras, which exactly this verse, if you read and then read those mantras, you will know from what is the source of this particular sloka in the Gita. Kathopanishad mantra is Indriyebhyah parahyartha artebhyascha param manah manasastu para buddhihi buddhiratma mahan parah. Then next sloka, next mantra in Kathopanishad, Mahata param avyaktam avyaktat purushah parah purushanna param kinchit sa kashta sa paragatihi. You see, this sloka exactly a replication, except that what Krishna has done here in Kathopanishad, he says, Manasastu para buddhehe atma mahan para. Correct. So, this thing is complete. The sense organs are superior to the sense objects. Mind is superior to the sense organs. Intellect, buddhi is superior to the mind, and Atma is superior to buddhi. That is what he says. But in the sloka which we are seeing, he does not say that. Buddhe paratastu saha, he says. So we have to understand the saha is a reference to Atma. So that is how, this is exactly the Kathopanishad sloka which Krishna reproduces here. At the end of the day, we have always seen that Bhagavad Gita is nothing but Upanishad Sara. So, wherever possible, we try to locate the source from which this has come. This sloka comes. So if you have studied Kathopanishad, and if you have seen this sloka in Kathopanishad, and what exactly, Adi Shankara's commentary on that, if you have studied, then interpreting this particular sloka in the Bhagavad Gita is not a problem at all. So, in fact, in this sloka, Krishna has condensed these two mantras of Kathopanishad. So here Krishna is revealing the Atma through a particular method used in the Shastra called Arundhati Darshana Nyaya. Arundhati Darshana Nyaya means gradual revelation. Arundhati Darshana, most of us will be familiar with, isn't it? In marriage and all, the priest will take, in fact, it's supposed to be seen at night. But these days, marriages are all shortcuts that during daytime, 12 o'clock itself, they will say, see the Arundhati star and assume that you have seen it. But traditionally, the way the Arundhati star is to be seen is, Arundhati star is a very, very feeble star. Immediately, you cannot see that. Very subtle. Therefore, if you have to show the Arundhati star to somebody, what they do is, first they will show something which can be seen, gross, like the moon. Can you see the moon? Bright moon? Yes, I can see. Then you say, from the moon in the direction of the east. You just go, run your eyes through that. Can you see one bright star there? Then when you do that, you see, yes, I can see the bright star. Then the bright star, above that bright star, can you see a line of 3 stars? You say, yeah, I can see the line of 3 stars. Then he will ask, is that the 3rd star Arundhati? He says, no, that is not Arundhati, wait. Then he will say, from the 3rd star, you go to the left side. When you go to the left side, can you see a triangle-like formation of stars? And that fellow will take little time, because now things are becoming more and more subtle, more and more feeble. He says, yeah, I can now see the triangle type of 3 stars. Then he will say, in between that, inside the triangle, can you see one very small star, very feeble star? When he concentrates, he will say, yes, I can see that star. That is Arundhati, he will say. So in order to, if straight away he say, you see that the Arundhati is there, this fellow person may not be able to locate it rather. So this is a methodology used in the Shastra, Arundhati Darshana Nyaya, or it is also called Shaka Chandra Nyaya. Shaka Chandra Nyaya means that if you want to show something, some feeble thing, first of all you show a tree, then in between the tree there is some luminary like a moon. Then from there you start the process. That's also called Shaka Chandra Nyaya. These are all methodologies used in the, in the scriptures in order to explain, in order to show us what we can otherwise not see easily rather. So these kind of a Nyaya Krishna uses Krishna uses, Kathopanishad also uses for revealing the Atma step by step. In the context of Vedanta, it is called Panchakosha Viveka. So Arundhati Darshana Nyaya is otherwise called Panchakosha Viveka. First reveal the grossest, then subtle, then subtle, then subtle, and the subtlest. So here the word paraha is a very significant word. Literally, paraha means superior. So a gradation of a superior thing is shown. This is superior to that, this is superior to that, like that, each step is going. And the most superior is Atma. Adi Shankara in his commentary, he says the word para has got a philosophical significance also. In fact, not I think Gita, he says it in Kathopanishad commentary of these mantras. He says the word para signifies 3 things. Simple meaning is superior. But it signifies 3 features. What are they? Sukshma, Mahanta, Pratyagatma, Bhutascha. So that which is superior is subtle. A subtler thing is called a superior thing. That is first meaning. Second meaning is Mahanta. For example, air is subtle, right? I mean, we can only feel the air, we cannot see the air and all that, because two levels less than, 1 level less than Akasha. Akasha is very subtle. Air is subtler than, less subtle than Akasha. And the more you go, Vayu, if you go on, beyond Vayu, you will enter the more subtler Akasha. And then it come to Akasha, it becomes all pervasive. It is extremely subtle and therefore all pervading. Therefore, first meaning was superior. First meaning superior meant subtle. Second means Mahanta hai, all pervading. And he says, what is the subtlest is the most closest to you. Pratyagatma bhutascha. So this gradation is talked about. And we have to take our mind along these steps, and ultimately we land in Atma. And there is one more idea also which is not directly mentioned by Krishna, but to be taken note of here as, very important. Swami Paramathananda brings out this point. He says a subtler thing controls a grosser thing. Subtler thing is more powerful, capable of controlling a grosser thing. Just keep this in mind and we will understand what, when we see the gradation, what this means. So he says, Indriyani Paranyahu. The sense organs are superior ones compared to the sense objects. Sense organs are Parani, superior to the sense objects. Why? Because the very existence of sense objects is proved by the sense organs alone. For a person whose eyesight is challenged, like a blind person, the world of forms and colors does not exist. Therefore, the very existence of the sense objects or forms and colors depend upon what? The very sense organ. Therefore, compared to the external world, the sense organs are superior. Then Krishna says, Indriyebhyah param manaha. Superior to the sense organs is the mind. Because the sense organs can function as sense organs only when the mind is there to back them. If the mind is not behind the sense organs, for example, if the mind is not behind your eyes when you are seeing, you cannot see. Your eyes may be open. There may be an object in front of you. But if your mind is not backing, mind is engaged somewhere else in some thoughts, then even though the object is right in front of you, you cannot see. Suppose you are in a railway station. You have gone there to receive someone. The train has arrived. It's a very, very common experience for most of us. It's extremely crowded. People are all just coming out of the train and going towards the exit. There are others who are waiting to board the train. And you are looking for a person whom you have come to receive. And your mind is occupied with the thought of that person. You are actually seeing lot of people, but your mind is focused only on that person whom you have come to receive. Therefore, even though you are seeing lot of people, you do not notice them. They all come and pass by you like that. Suppose somebody even known to you passes through, you may not even see that person. Later on, he may complain, I saw you were looking somewhere else in the railway station. I got down from the train and I was going towards the exit. I saw you, but you were looking somewhere else. You saw me also, but you didn't recognize me. You didn't say even hello to me. You didn't even smile at me. That person will complain. He will say, you had a blank look on your face. It was not a blank look. It was a look for some specific object, some specific person, and the mind was behind the eyes only for that person. Mind was not supporting the eyes for looking at anything else. So the mind was fully behind the eyes, trying to search. And even though others were passing in front of you, your eyes are open, you don't perceive them, because in respect of those persons, the mind is not behind the eyes. Similarly, sometimes in the class also, ears are open, but no hearing takes place. Swamiji says, if I tell the students that the class will be for 1 hour, then the mind will support the ears for 1 hour. After 1 hour, the mind will withdraw its support, and then hearing will stop. It will not take place. He says, suppose I had said in the beginning itself the class will be for 90 minutes. Then the mind will support the ears for 90 minutes. And thereafter it will switch off. Because after 90 minutes, the mind will start questioning. This fellow said 90 minutes, now it is going to be 100 minutes. When is he going to stop? Like that, the mind will start working and no hearing will take place, even though the Acharya is talking. And he says that is why it's a discipline which Acharyas follow. They stick to timings diligently because they want the full focus of the student to listen to their teaching. If it is 6 o'clock, start at 6 o'clock. Whether students are there or not. 7 o'clock you have to stop at 7 o'clock. If I say 1 hour and then take 1.5 hours, then the 1 hour, after 1 hour, mind will start thinking when this talk is going to stop. And that's why, sometimes like I requested today, I may take a few more minutes. So then you are prepared, mentally prepared. Okay, the mind says, even if it goes beyond 1 hour, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, okay, I will still support, I will listen. But if that doesn't happen, the mind withdraws from backing the ear and it engages in other thoughts. Hearing to the talk becomes a casualty. Therefore, eye is an eye only when it is backed by the mind, and ear is an ear only when backed by the mind, and therefore mind is superior to the sense organ. Then, manasastu para buddhihi. Superior to the mind is the intellect. Mind has got mainly twofold functions. Tattva bodha visa. Sankalpa vikalpatmakam manaha. One is emotion part of mind, another is a doubt, what they call doubting faculty of the mind. Sankalpa vikalpa means what? The famous to be or not to be, to go to the class or not to go to the class, to eat this or not to eat. Always doubting faculty is called the mind. Emotions also are there, but in this context, doubting. Now, both these emotions and doubts can be controlled by the intellect with your discriminative power. Remember, Ashocya nanva shochasvam pragyavadascha bhashase gatasu nagatasuscha anushocanti pandita. That is what a jnani accomplishes. Using his intellect, he is able to gain a control over his emotions and also all the doubts that the mind is entertaining. Wise people are not under grip of emotions. Not only they do not have emotion, it's not that they don't have emotions. We have to be very careful. They will have emotions. Because if they don't have emotion, there will be no difference between a jnani and a rock, isn't it? As a human being, a jnani has got his sentiments, his emotions. But he is not under the grip of emotions because he knows how to handle them because of his intellectual wisdom. And most of the emotions are because of ignorance, unintelligent judgment of situations, wrong perspective, or you can even say jealousy, hatred. They're all unintelligent responses to a given situation. Therefore, through intellect, emotions can be handled. Through intellect, doubts can be handled. In fact, any doubt will go only by clear knowledge. And therefore, buddhi is capable of handling the mind. And that's why in Kathopanishad, a beautiful analogy is given. We have already seen that in one of the earlier classes. Rathakalpana. Body is compared to a chariot. Sense organs are like horses. Mind is like the reins controlling the horses. And buddhi is like the driver who alone controls the reins. And through the reins controls the horses. And through the horses controls the very direction of life. Life's journey. Therefore, Krishna says, Manasastu para buddhi. Tattvabodha language, Vijnanamaya kosha, is superior to Manomaya kosha. So, intellect is superior to the mind. Rational intellect is superior to emotional mind. So, we have said this is superior to that, this is superior to that. Now, question is, what is superior to the intellect? He says, Yo buddhehe parasastu saha. That which is superior to even the intellect is saha. Saha means the Atma. Atma is superior to the intellect also. And here by Atma, we mean the consciousness, pure consciousness, because of which I am even aware of the very intellect, its knowledge and its ignorance. I am aware of the knowledge of the intellect and also its ignorance. Suppose I ask you, do you know English? You will say, yes, I know English. Then I will ask you, how do you know that you know English? You will say, I know that I know English, isn't it? What does that mean? It means that you are aware of the knowledgeable condition of the intellect. That awareness is what gives you the ability to say, I know that I know English. Therefore, intellect also is an object of my awareness. And the knowledge in the intellect is also an object of my awareness. When we say awareness, means consciousness. Now, suppose I ask you, do you know Chinese? And you say, no, I don't know Chinese. Then I ask the question, how do you know that you do not know Chinese? What will be your answer? You will say, I know that I do not know Chinese. But of course, the answer is not relevant. What is relevant is the awareness of the quality of knowledge the intellect holds and what quality of ignorance the intellect has. We are aware of what is there in our intellect. What is not there in the intellect also we are aware. Therefore, not only I am aware of the knowledgeable mind, I am also aware of the ignorant mind. Both knowledge and ignorance are properties of the intellect which I am aware of. Therefore, if I am aware of that, I am neither the intellect, nor am I the knowledge, nor am I the ignorance. I am the consciousness who am aware of the intellect and its property of knowledge as well as ignorance. That I, who is neither the body, nor the sense organs, nor the mind, nor the intellect. All these four are objects of my knowledge. Body is the object of my knowledge. Mind is the object of my knowledge. The senses are object of my knowledge. Intellect is the object of my knowledge. Pujya Swamiji gives a very beautiful example. He says, when you want to test your eyes or ears, so especially eyes, the doctor will put a empty frame on your eyes, and he will put different lenses and ask you the question, do you see? That means the doctor knows that I know whether I see or not. Therefore, seeing property of the sense organs and non-seeing property of the sense organ, I am aware of. Similarly, the hearing property of the sense organ, non-hearing property of the sense organ, also I am aware of. Viveka Chudamani, Shankaracharya beautifully says, Andhatva mandatva patulva dharma saugunya vaigunya vashadi chakshusha badirya mukatva mukastataiva srotradi dharma natu vedtu ratmanah. He says blindness, weakness, sharpness are all conditions of the eye due to its fitness or defectiveness merely due to its fitness or defectiveness. So are deafness, dumbness, etc. of the ear or so forth. I am aware of all these just like I am aware of all the sense objects in the world. The world is an object, the body is an object, sense organs are an object, mind is an object, intellect is an object, I am an object. No, I am not an object. I am ever the subject who is aware of all the objects. And I, the subject, can never be objectified. If I, the subject, can never be objectified, how do I know that I am existent? This question will come. Because by objectifying the subject, the knower is replaced by the known. Then how would I know that I am existent? What is the proof? There will be no proof because there will be no knower. That's why a subject can never become an object. Subject has to be there, a knower has to be there. An awarer, if we can use the word, has to be there. Therefore, the knower, his awareness, is the proof of the very availability of any object. So you don't require any other proof. The very availability of the object is the proof for the presence of the subject. What is the proof that I have got eyes? Unless, of course, I use a mirror, I cannot see my eyes. I don't have a mirror. How do I know that I have got eyes? The very fact that I am able to see everything around is the proof of my eyes. So, the very sight that I have is the proof that I have got eyes. Suppose you look at a photograph where there are a lot of people are there. Then you see that if there are 9 people in that photo, you conclude that there must be 10 people who have gone to that place. How? 9 are seen in the photo and there must have been one who have taken the photo, so he must also be present in that place. Now, suppose you say, no, that is not necessary. These days, we get this, what is that, camera with automatic settings and all. So we can take 9 people only. All right. But the camera is there or not as a 10th entity. Is the camera seen in the photo? But when you see the photo, do you doubt the camera's existence? That is never doubted, because we all know the photo could not be there unless there was a camera behind it. Similarly, the awareness is never seen, but its existence can never be questioned, and that the awareness proves everything, but which itself does not require any proof. That awareness is Atma, the consciousness. And this Atma I should know, or I should own up as myself. Then what will happen? That is said in the last verse. We will read the verse. Evam buddhe param buddhva samstabhyatmana namatmana jahi shatrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. The Anvaya of the sloka is, He Mahabaho, Evam Buddhva Param Buddhehe Samstabhya Atmanam Atmana Jahi Durasadam Shatrum Kama Rupam. Some noise I am getting. The word meanings are, He Mahabaho, O Arjuna, Evam Buddhva, thus knowing the self. Param Buddhehe, which is beyond the intellect. Samstabhya Atmanam, steadying the mind. Here Atmanam means mind. Atmana, with the mind. How do you steady the mind? With the mind. Jahi Durasadam Shatrum, conquer the elusive enemy. Durasadam, elusive. Shatrum, enemy. Kama Rupam, which is in the nature of the form of desire, which is in the form of desire. So how to overcome this desire? Bhagavan is revealing here. O Arjuna, thus knowing the self, which is beyond the intellect, and steadying the mind with the mind, conquer the enemy, which is in the form of the elusive desire. So what Krishna wants to say is, Arjuna, your ultimate task is knowing this Atma, the Chaitanya Tattva. And what type of Chaitanya Tattvam? Buddhehe Param, which is superior even to the intellect, which is the objectifier of even the intellect, which is the subject behind the intellect. That Atma, that consciousness, you should own up. And what is the nature of that consciousness? We have talked about 2-3 times. Again, once more, it will be useful to remind ourselves. Consciousness is not part, product, or property of the body. Consciousness is an independent entity which pervades and enlivens the body. Consciousness is not limited by the boundary of the body. Consciousness survives even after the fall of the body. That surviving consciousness cannot interact because of the lack of a medium. you can replace the word consciousness in this definition by the word I. I am not part, product, or property of the body. I am an independent entity which pervades and enlivens this body. I am not limited by the boundaries of the body. I survive even after fall of the body. That I who is surviving cannot interact because of want of a body, because I have all along been using this body as a medium to interact with the world. Now, since the body has fallen, even though I still continue to exist, I am unable to interact. This is what we have to, this is the essence of the entire Vedanta. This is what is self-knowledge. So once we have able to gain this knowledge, assimilate this knowledge, abide in this knowledge, you are a jnani. All your desires are all body-based desires, mind-based desires. When you realize that I am not a part and product or property of the body, this body, mind, sense complex, all desires automatically will fall away. That is what is self-knowledge. So the boundless consciousness, which is not limited by the boundaries of the body. Remember the light falling on the hand, we saw the example. The boundless light is all pervading. But beyond the hand, you do not see the light, but it is there. Similarly, consciousness is in the body and it is beyond the boundaries of the body. That Satchit Ananda Atma one should know. And it is not sufficient to know that there is consciousness consciousness. What is more important is learning to train our mind to own up that formless consciousness as the real I. This formed body is not the real I. The formless consciousness is the real I. One Western author named Wayne Dyer writes beautifully. Of course, he is influenced by Indian philosophic teaching. He has, studied Vedanta and all that. He says, when you shift the I from the formed body to the formless consciousness, that is called a transformation. He says that is the real transformation in life. The real transformation is transcending the form, owning up that I am formless consciousness. Then what about the body and mind? Just as I use the spectacles consisting of these two glasses to transact with the world, I use the body, mind as instruments to transact with the world during the waking state. Mind you, I use this body-mind complex only during the waking state. During sleep, I set aside the body and also the mind. Because of that, I'm talking about deep sleep, Sushupti. I set aside the body and the mind, and because of that, I am unable to transact with the world. Even though transacting I is absent in sleep, am I absent in sleep? No. The non-transacting I continues to exist, continues to be active, continues to be aware. What is the proof? When I have a sound sleep, a deep sleep, totally relaxing sleep, and I wake up the next morning and say what? I had a very sound sleep that I could not even hear the roaring thunder. The sleep was so relaxing. Now, question is, when in deep sleep, the body is resolved, the mind is resolved, the intellect is resolved, no sense organs are working, how do I know that I had sound sleep? Because even when the body, mind, sense complex is in deep sleep, I, the awarer, the knower, the consciousness never sleeps. I am Sakshi of everything. I am the witness of everything that this body, mind, sense organs undergo. I am aware of everything even when my mind and intellect are resolved. Therefore, I am very much present during sleep also. So during sleep, the transacting I alone is gone. The non-transacting I, the non-located I, the all-pervading I continues. Therefore, body and mind I use when I want, I set aside when I don't require them. Therefore, they are the media, they are not me. Shankaracharya starts Nirvana Shatakam, another beautiful text, with this shloka. Mano buddhya hankara chittani naham nacha srotra jikve nacha grana netre nacha vyoma bhumirna tejo na vayuhu chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. Shivoham, this is the Vedantic teaching. So what you should do? Atmana Atmanam Samstabhya. By claiming this new identity, we have to remove the previous orientation that I am a finite, mortal, insecure individual. Right from my birth, my orientation is that I am finite and mortal. Why this birth? From so many previous births. My firm belief is that I cannot be happy within myself. I require to be fine. I want to be okay. And it is not difficult to change one's orientation. We pass through various stages in life. And at each stage, we drop the previous orientation and acquire a new one. As a baby, I wanted balloons to play with. As a teenager, if you give balloons to the teenager, what he will say? He'll say, are you mad? Do you think I'm still a baby? He has changed his orientation. He will say, now give me a computer again, laptop. And this fascination, this orientation will also keep on changing as I keep growing. So changing the orientation is not a problem. We are used to it. Only problem is we don't pay attention to it. Therefore, we have to change the orientation that I am finite, I am mortal, and acquire a new orientation based on the new knowledge. That is called Jnana Nishtha. So Krishna, that's why he says Atmana Atmanam Samstabhya. Samstabhya means Svikritya. Internalize the teaching. Study this teaching. To use the second chapter language, Sthita Prajnaha Bhava. What is the difference between Prajnaha and Sthira Prajnaha? If you are a Prajnaha, this knowledge is alive in the classroom. The moment the class is over, the good, old, miserable, bitter, limited, angry, restless, irritable, irritated personality resurfaces. As Swami Paramathananda says, Chappal on, Vedanta gone. Again, when next day you come to the class, you are back to Prajna. Whereas I am Sthira Prajna. If I am a Sthira Prajna, this knowledge continues. It is available whenever I need. So ready availability of the knowledge during the crisis is called Jnana Nishtha. Otherwise, what is the use of this knowledge if it remains only as an academic achievement? And how do you do that? by nididhyasanam. Dwelling upon this teaching in any manner, either by sharing with someone or by reflecting within yourself, or write or teach, do something or the other. That dwelling, that contemplation, meditating on this knowledge is very important. Atmanaha. So Atma here means the mind. Steady your mind. Atmanaha. With the mind. Atmanam Atmanaha. With the mind. Steady your mind with the mind, which means by practice of meditation, by practice of dwelling upon the teaching, reliving the teaching in meditation. Meditation does not mean sitting with closed eyes. It means what? Recalling to your mind the teaching again and again and again. It is reliving the teaching, either by reading, writing, thinking, etc., sharing. It's all reliving rather. Samstabhya. Jahi Shatrum Mahabaho. When you own up this consciousness as myself, I discover Purnatvam, because what is limited is this physical body. I gain the knowledge that I am Purna. I am not limited. I am limitless. I am the formless Atma without any limitation, limitless, formless Atma. And this owning up of Purnatvam removes all wants. In fact, everything is in me, the consciousness. What do I miss in life? I pervade this entire world, all objects of desire which I have, my mind entertains, I pervade that. It's all within me only. So what is it that I don't have in my life? There is nothing. Everything is in me. The whole prapancha is within me. And therefore, he says, Shatrum Jahi Arjuna, may you destroy your enemy. Enemy in the form of what? Kama Rupam, which is in the form of insatiable want, greed, yearning, urge, the form of desire, whatever enemy is there. Because this Kama is Durasadam, incomprehensible, very difficult to understand. Because majority has not understood what is Kama, and that is why they try to fulfill the Kama by acquisition. They might have read the scriptures, but they don't remember. Na karmana na prajaya dhanena tyage naike amritatvamanasu. You cannot reach, you cannot have fulfillment, you cannot have amritatvam through karma, through progenies, through money. By only renunciation you can reach that stage. Tyagena eke. Therefore, this incomprehensible, inscrutable karma, you just give up only by owning a Purnatvam. So this is the ultimate solution. So first aid was Dhamma, Shama and Viveka. Ultimate solution is Atma Jnanam. And when karma is handled, Krodha is also automatically handled. When we hear about the vision of Vedanta, when we learn about moksha or Purnatvam, when we understand what it takes to be a Jivan Mukta, we will find that it is an unknown territory and there will be a natural fear to step into it. There will always be a fear to let go of the past. Isn't it? Therefore, I will close this chapter with a beautiful and a profound message which Ramuji, who is with us, shared with me a few days ago about the writings of Khalil Gibran. It's a famous Lebanese American poet. You must have all heard Gibran's name. Gibran says, overcome your fears by letting go of your ego and duality and by merging and becoming one with the Supreme Consciousness. See, Khalil Gibran, a Lebanese American poet, talking Vedanta. He writes, it is said that before entering the sea, a river trembles with fear. She looks at the path she has traveled from the peaks of mountains, the long winding road crossing forests and villages, and in front of her, she sees an ocean, a vast ocean, so vast that to enter the sea seems to be nothing more than to disappear forever. But he says there is no other way. The river cannot go back. Nobody can go back. Going back is impossible in existence. The river needs to take the risk of entering the ocean, because only then will the fear disappear, because that is where the river will know that it is not about disappearing into the ocean, but becoming the ocean itself. This sentence, I tell you, worth repeating, worth remembering. That is where the river will know it is not about entering the ocean, but becoming the ocean itself. He further says that even when death knocks at your door, don't be scared, because what seems like an end of a journey is an act of merging back with the Supreme Source from where we all originated. No one can escape that. No one can go back. So don't be scared. Don't be too attached to your worldly possessions and accomplishments. And the commentator who actually has the video, which Ramuji shared, he beautifully introduces the Advaita when he says, you don't even have to wait for death to achieve this state of oneness and detachment. You can practice detachment and merging your identity and your ego with the Supreme Source. You can be a Jivan Mukta. Then he quotes Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, who wrote that spirituality automatically leads to humility. Just as when a flower develops into a fruit, the petals drop off on their own, so too, when one becomes spiritually mature, the ego vanishes gradually on its own. A tree laden with fruit always bends low. Humility is a sign of greatness. And remember, by entering the ocean, the river is not losing its identity. It is only rejoining its source and transforming itself into the mighty ocean. That is the message of Vedanta, which has been very beautifully explained by Khalil Gibran. Okay. Om Tat Sad iti Srimad Bhagawad Gita su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishnarjuta Sammadhe Karma Yogo Nama Tritiyodhyaya. Meaning of this is Om Brahman is the only reality. Thus ends the chapter called Karma Yoga, having the topic of karma in Bhagavad Gita, which is in the form of a dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna, which is the essence of Upanishads, whose subject matter is both the knowledge of Brahman and Yoga. Om Tat Sat. Om Purnamadav Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Namaskaram.
Hari Om.
Namaskaram.
Dhanyavadah.
Hari Om Guruji.
Namaste.
Hari Om.
Third chapter.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Yes.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you very much. Thank you for it. What a wonderful, enthralling and capturing and spellbinding explanation of the consciousness. And these two shlokas, I think they're life-changing. Of course, every shloka is important, but then the way you have explained and ended it with Khalil Gibran's poem, the message is so clear. And thank you very much for the wonderful session,
all
Guruji.
great
Thank you.
thinkers in the world have only
Yeah.
this message to give. That is the beauty. Whether they are not necessarily Indians and things not restricted to India. No. All great thinkers have ultimately come to this discovery of this truth.
Yes,
That is
Guruji.
what is right.
Yes, Guruji. And they say, I mean, not they say, I believe Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he was almost an illiterate. He never could read anything, but then he's been described as the living Vedanta. He lived Vedas, and that's what his life was. And but all that is in the past. But then we are so blessed to have this narration and explanation given by you, Guruji. Thank you very much. It's very, very touching, actually. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari
Yes,
Om,
Guruji.
Guruji.
Namaste.
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 Guruji, in the verse 42, they are now classifying the various senses and mind and intellect and the self from the subtlety point of view. Which is subtler? Is the object, sense objects are subtler than the senses?
Sense objects are gross. Sense organs are subtler than the sense objects.
In the Kathopanishad, it's very clearly they have written that the sense objects are subtler than the senses.
Where Kathopanishad, where they have written?
It is
You can read the Kathopanishad mantras.
section 3, mantra 10.
That is what I read to you today.
Yeah, beyond the senses are the sense object. Beyond this object is the mind.
Whose translation you are reading?
Swami Chinmayananda. And they have written also, and this doubt I had always, even when
That
Swami.
is why, the word para you have to interpret as superior, not beyond.
No, but how Swami Chinmayananda is trying to prove that the objects are subtler than the senses. Means
I don't know, because I'm not following Swami Chinmayananda's teachings. I am following what is written in the book. See, the problem with most of these books written in the name of Swamiji's are, it is written by somebody. Okay.
Yeah.
And then many times, because it is Chinmaya mission, they will say book by Swami Chinmayananda. Maybe Swamiji has not even checked what is being written, right?
No, his argument here is that if there are no sense objects, if there are no color and forms, then I cannot prove that I have got eyes. If there are no sounds, then I cannot prove that I have got ears. So in that sense, he says that the objects like forms and color or sound, they are the cause and the effect is the senses. And the cause is subtler than the effect. Hence, the objects are subtler than the senses. If you
That
can,
also, that interpretation also.
This I wanted to ask even Tejoma, Swami Tejoma, when I was listening
I've
to
asked him
him.
that.
No. Kathopan, I didn't ask him. I was so this doubt was always there in my mind.
No. If you look at this sloka itself,
Yeah.
what says Indriyani paran ahuhu indriyebhyah param manah. Correct?
Yeah.
Parani ahu. So indriyebhyah param. So here comparison is the mind is superior to the sense organs.
Subtler than the
Or subtler than
sense.
sense organs, right?
Yeah.
So parani means what? Parani means other things, the objects. Okay. So what they say here, the way Krishna is putting it is that compared to the sense objects, the sense organs are superior because reason is because of the sense organs only we come to know the existence of the sense objects.
See in the Kathopanishad they have written Indriyebhya para hyartha, which means Indriyebhya, than the senses para superior, he indeed artha, sense object. That is the verse 10. And I always had, even whenever I heard the Kathopanishad, I couldn't understand that. We, in general, because we always thought sense objects are grosser than the senses. But it is very, and
so let me do one thing.
Yes, please. This is not an, this is not, Acharya ji, this is not an argument. This is only for
No, not an argument. But what you are saying, I can see your point.
Yeah, I want to understand it.
Because what Kathopanishad says, Indriyebhya parahi artha, Andriyebhyascha parammanah, it says, correct?
Yes.
So what you are saying, what Swami Chinmayananda has written there, appears to be what Kathopanishad says.
Yeah.
But having said that, I will have to check with
Please.
Shankara Bhashyam.
Yeah.
Exactly how he is interpreting this mantra in his Bhashyam.
Okay.
Whether he is also taking, because if that is the case, then the Bhagavad Gita shloka will be contradicting that.
But he is not bringing sense objects. He is only telling the mind is subtler than the senses. But he doesn't say that the senses are subtler than the object. It can be the object, but however, he is crossing the object.
See, Indriyani parani ahuhu, right?
Yeah.
What does it mean? Sense objects are superior, beyond. Ahuhu, people say.
Yeah.
Beyond what? Question will come to beyond what? Parani means what? It is beyond, using the language of Swami Chinmayananda.
Artha is sense object.
But where is Artha? In Bhagavad Gita, there is no Artha word.
No, I am talking about Kathopanishad.
I am talking about Bhagavad Gita. If we look at the Bhagavad Gita, it says Priyani Parani Ahuhu. Correct.
But we were telling that this verse has been based on Kathopanishad only.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. It is verse based on the two verses of Kathopanishad.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So what we have to do is that in order to reconcile these two, the only way out is, because what I am telling, what I told in the class regarding Kathopanishad is Puja Swamiji and also Swami Paramarthanandaji's interpretation is taken. That is what I have shared with you.
Okay.
Now you are bringing a very valid point.
Yeah.
So for that, the only solution is I have to go back to Kathopanishad Bhashyam of Adi Shankara,
Yeah.
how is he explaining this?
I have got the Bhashyam written by Swami Paramatmananda. I will try to copy that and send it to you.
No, I have got the Bhashyam, I have got lectures.
Okay.
Don't need to worry.
Okay.
I have studied all this in the.
Yeah, okay.
Gurukulam.
No,
So,
but this doubt was there for me. I thought this is the right opportunity.
I think it's a valid doubt,
Yeah.
because this Bhagavad Gita sloka appears to be, I mean, I would put it where the Kathopanishad sloka mantra appears to give what you are saying is beyond, right?
Yeah.
Indriyebhyah parahi arthaha.
Indriyebhyah para hartaha.
See, the first sentence is fine. Indriyebhyah harta is
Yeah,
fine. The
and
indriyas or sense organs are superior or beyond the objects, fine. Second one is what is troubling. Artebhyascha param manah.
Yeah.
Could have been indriyebhyascha param manah. Correct.
Yeah, here artebhyascha paramanaha. That is,
Artebhyascha param manah. That is
mind is subtler than the object.
yeah. So let me check with
Please.
Maybe next class I will let you know.
Yeah. Because this doubt was always, I thought
Fair
this
enough.
would,
Because every time we also get an opportunity to learn. That is
Okay.
what is beauty. In fact, there is a word Akshara, right? Somebody asked me a question from who's in Naranani, in fact.
Yeah.
Asked me, there is a word Aksharam used in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad.
Yeah.
Then the word Aksharam appears in the 8th chapter.
Yes.
There's a word Aksharam appears in the 15th chapter.
Kshara.
Sharakshara.
Yeah.
Is it all the same or not? I knew by my recollection that there is a difference.
There is a
Difference in what is Akshara in the 8th chapter, what is Aksharam in the 15th chapter, what is Aksharam in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. They are not referring to the same thing.
Okay.
But to be sure, I refer to Bhashyam. Adi Shankara very beautifully explained why that particular meaning should be taken in a particular context.
Okay.
Because Aksharam means Brahman also is Aksharam.
Yeah.
Maya also is Aksharam.
Yeah.
Hiranya Garbha is also Aksharam.
Yeah.
All are Aksharam only.
Okay.
So in which context, what meaning we should take, Adi Shankara, beauty and reason also he gives why we should take this meaning. So it becomes clear. So whenever some very valid doubts are raised, for me also, it is an opportunity to learn, to clarify my own understanding. So what you have raised is a very, very valid question. I will look into it and I'll come back.
Please. Thank you.
Yes, Sulekha ji.
Namaste, Guruji. My question is regarding meditation, and the clarification I'm requesting is, can meditation, as you had discussed in today's class, can it be done as a form of contemplation rather than sitting with eyes closed and for a set period of time? Can meditation occur as you're deeply thinking about, say, for example, today's class, and not doing other things per se? It's not multitasking, but it is the concept of trying to not put a set time or place. Or does meditation occur when you develop concentration, titiksha, the sixfold virtues? Is that the only time when meditation starts to grow or develop? Can you clarify, please?
See, what is meditation? Meditation is a particular thought which you bring back into your mind again and again repeatedly. That's the process of meditation, is that, right? Normally, when we talk about meditation in Yoga Shastra and all that, you are supposed to sit, close your eyes. Krishna himself will tell all those things in the 6th chapter, okay? And then, because that becomes the most conducive way, undisturbed way of bringing the thoughts into your mind. Whereas, when we talk of Vedantic meditation, nididhyasana, it is living the knowledge. Because even if you sit with your closed eyes, you are going to remember everything. And you are going to bring that back to, your mind, the knowledge, whatever you have gained. What is the practical use of that? When you open your eyes, you will be back at samsari only. During that time, you may feel very nice. Oh, I'm Brahmasmi and things like that and all. The moment you open your eyes, just like as I said, in the class, you will be very pragya. Outside you go, finished. Everything is back, right? With full force, it will come back. So the idea is Vedantic Nididhyasanam can be of the type of sitting in meditation and recalling. Need not necessarily be that type. Because ultimately your idea is what? Your purpose is to convert this knowledge into practical application so that you get the benefit of this knowledge. If you don't apply this knowledge practically with your interaction with the world, you are not going to get any benefit. It will remain as an academic knowledge only rather. Therefore, there is no restriction so far as Vedanta. In fact, every time, the meditation starts with what? Awareness of your condition of your mind 24/7, except when you are sleeping, right? Otherwise, when you are in a waking state, always be aware what your mind is doing. Thoughts will keep coming. Filter those thoughts, remove it. Suppose there is some incident happens, some circumstance, some experience, which suddenly mind becomes angry. Right? Now this knowledge will help to know that, for you to know that your mind is angry. And immediately you control that mind. Listen, this is not good. You are not supposed to do that. So like that, constantly you will have to keep watching your mind. Many times, that is, suppose you see an object and you want it. You have a very keen desire for that object. Your mind says, no, let us go and buy it. Ask the mind, what if I don't buy it? What will you do? Right? Challenge the mind. So these are all, small tips rather. But how do you grow with this knowledge? You have to grow on incident to incident basis, day to day basis, continuously doing. Need not necessarily that sit in some place and do it rather. Live the knowledge. Live the knowledge that I am Purna. If something is there, well and good. If it is not there, I am not going to be desperate about that. That's how you have to keep on developing that. Okay. Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Otherwise, next week we will do a summary of 3rd chapter and then we will go into the 4th chapter.
Guruji, I have one more query, if it is possible.
Yeah.
See, when you, it's a general doubt. Say desire is either it can be a sattvic desire or a rajasic desire or tamasic desire. Can you give an example for tamasic desire?
You want to sleep, don't want to get up in the morning. You put the alarm, 5 o'clock, you want to get up, right?
Yeah.
When you are sleeping, you are totally predominant. The guna is tamasa guna.
Okay.
You don't want to. The alarm rings. You switch it off. You do snooze it. And let me sleep for 10 more minutes. Let me sleep for half an hour more. Tamasic desire. That's why, this brahmacharyam and all that are meant to break. Tamasic desire can be broken only by rebelling against that. Nothing doing. Because your body is very comfortable, very nice, sleeping. It enjoys the tamasic guna. Body enjoys tamasic guna. Mind enjoys tamasic guna. It doesn't want to be active.
This tamasic desire, is it a self-destructive?
Tamasic, this is one example of tamasic desire I gave you. Yes, it is self-destructive. Because there is a certainty. The right way of living is living with nature.
Yeah.
Follow the nature. Whatever happens in the nature, you follow that. That means what? You will lead a healthy life, being close with nature. For that, what? There is a sunrise takes place in the morning, say 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
You must rise at that time.
Yeah.
Every other living being in the entire universe rises at that time. Only human beings say 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, they sleep.
Yeah.
Is that healthy way of life? Eventually, it will destroy that human being physically, if not any other way, right? That is why these are all sattvic desires. Getting up early in the morning at Brahma Muhurta, sattvic desire. So, desire per se, we must not say. Another tamasic desire is, for example, eating non-veg. Example of tamasic desire. Because when we look at Bhagavad Gita later on, we will see what are the tamasic kind of foods. There are people who have got a fascination for all these kind of tamasic foods, which are what we call the stale food and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a tamasic desire. They like it. So you can give example, rajasic desire, tamasic desire, a lot of examples can be given.
Okay.
But the idea is you must bring down all tamasic desires and step up all sattvic desires.
Okay.
Stage.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
finally you will even give up the sattvic desire, because whatever is that desire is there, it will itself disappear rather. You have no desire at all. You just carry on with this knowledge. That is what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Got it? Okay. Are you? Any other question? Nothing? Okay, we'll then close the session. Thank you very much. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om. Good night.
Hari Om.